using library classes. Actually, this is the most important chapter of your of this book. So you should be little careful about this chapter. Okay. Now, actually you have many class libraries. Okay. These are otherwise called packages. But what are these packages? What they do have? Actually, they have thousands of classes. They have many classes into them. You know, the classes are used for different work. We have just now discussed two classes: deposit class, withdraw class, debt class, all these. So, one particular class has facilities for many different, one particular class has facilities to keep attributes and to keep the behavior, method for a particular object. You have many packages in this Java, like this. These are some packages: java.lang, java.util, java.io, java.kwt, java.javax.swing, java.applet, java.net, etc. But in this chapter we will mainly learn about some of the java.lang classes, some of the classes belonging to java.lang and java.io. We will also study about the wrapper classes. Okay. You can see, also, as you know, when we have in our program we have input statement, then you have print statement. So we are taking input from the user and providing the output to the user. So while reading the input or showing the output, there may come certain types of unexpected errors. We can trap those errors. What is that error? Okay, what is that error? So those unexpected errors can be trapped and handled. That means we will handle those errors effectively. Instead of breaking our program in the middle, we can still continue getting the output. You know that we always input to the computer some information. Actually, these inputs are called program input. This program input can be character input. We are writing some characters. A mouse click, audio input, graphic input, or video input, or file input. File input means the data will be supplied from the file, not from outside world. Rather, the data is kept, data is stored already in terms of file. Okay. Output is all information also is the same thing. We can see text on text graphics, video, okay, etc. on screen, and audio we can listen, we can get print out, we can get the printout of our text on the printer. Okay, all these things. The next thing you see, so output. So input and output we have decided. Next thing is we read. Although Java is a powerful language, yet it offers no standard statement. Actually, there is no standard statement for getting the input and the output and providing the output. Like you have in basic language, you have input statement. There is a particular input statement, okay, in the basic INPUT input print statement, but Java has not such provision. Okay, so those provisions are not there. Rather, Java provides these facilities using methods, and those methods are part of the I/O package, Java.io package. Okay, but how you use them? So you need to import the Java.io package into your current package. You need to get those files, get those classes from the Java.io package into your current package. So for that, import statement will work. Okay, import java.io.star. The star tells all classes will be imported. Then you have simple output. You know the simple output is through system dot this println method. Where is that println method? It is actually the println method used like this: system dot out dot println. What is this system dot out? Actually, it refers to the output stream. It refers to the output stream managed by system class. So system class has a output stream. System class has an attribute that its name is out. It must be static, as you know. It is used with the system class. So system.out is the output stream. Actually it is a print stream object. So system dot this out attribute of the system class is a print stream object. So that is static print stream out, like you have static int x. You have static int x. So just like that, it is static print stream out. And print stream class is a subclass of the output stream class. That's why it is written, the print stream class is an output stream. Okay, the print stream class is the output stream. That is easy to use. Simply call one of the print, println or write methods to write various types of data to the string. So, it is a string of print stream class. Which one? Out. As you know, this print stream is another class. Class print stream. So this class is a member, is a subclass of the outstream class. So it extends out, it must be extending output stream. So in the background, this must be extending to the output stream. And so that means output stream is also a class, it is an abstract class. That means the object cannot be created of that class. So print stream class is there, its object can be created. So the out is the object of the print stream class. So there is that means in the background again there is a class called output stream. Okay. And this must be abstract. That means no object can be created of that class. Okay. And this class has write method. What are the other methods you have? Print method declared in this class. Print ln method. So all these methods are now the member of print stream class, because print stream is the subclass. Okay. So because the out is the print stream object, now this out can call those methods or can use those methods. Okay. That's why it is written system.out and dot println method. And whatever arguments you supply, that is printed. Out is the object, out is the reference variable of the print stream. But print and println, those are the methods. Those are the methods of the output stream class. And those methods, what is the difference between them? With the println, the next successive output takes place at the next line. But with the simply print, next successive output will not come in the same line, rather, will come in the same line. Okay. Why? The println method automatically adds a backslash n to the end of this string, end of the text. If you have not given also, if you have not given at last also, the println method, but both are same. This backslash n we have not given at the end of our string, but println method adds that backslash n and print. Whereas the print method doesn't add that backslash n and simply print. Here is a program displaying some of the output. Println artwork, hello world, thank you, all are printed with the println. That's why they come in one line. Now you see, when you are printing with the system.out.print, when you are printing with the print, okay, when you are printing with print, they come in same line. Okay, both functions are there, both methods are there, are inherited from the superclass. Okay, but their output is different. Next, simple input. Simple input means you actually our standard input device is keyboard. Okay, that means we will take a single character from the single or many characters from the keyboard. We can start with a single character. For that, the system.in, again system.in.read function is used. Again this system.in, that means there is another reference variable in the system class. That is called what? Int. That is called int. Okay, and this in is also the system.in is an input stream object. Okay, like suppose you can tell it is data input stream. Data input stream. Like you had print stream out, data input stream in. Again it is static because it is used with this system, with the class name. And again this data input stream is one of the subclass of which class? Input stream class. Like you have your output stream class, your data input stream class is there. Okay. And like the print string, class print string extends output string. You can also have class data input string extends input string. So that is why we are using this system.in. And this system.in, this data input string, they derive some of the, or they inherit some of the methods from the parent process. Parent class, like this read function. The read function is one of them. Many reads are there. Okay. See, all the input strings defined, see, all the input strings defined in Java.io package are subclasses of input string. Input string defines programming interface for input strings that includes methods for reading from the string, marking a location within the string, keeping to a mark, and closing the string. So if we have a string, from the string what you will do? You will read from the string. See, in the middle your program is there. Your program reads from the string. Not read, it doesn't read from the, it doesn't read from the keyboard directly. Rather, data from the keyboard is already in the string. And your program is linked to the string. Like that, the program's output is not going directly to the screen, not to the monitor, not to the output device. Rather, it is directed to the stream, output stream. And the output stream is linked in turn with the monitor or output device. Okay. So what happens? Using the stream, there is no difficulty in changing or in using different output devices, different input devices. It will not hamper your work. Your program will not find a difference, will not find a difference from your old output device to the new output device, old input device to the new input device. That's why nowadays you can change plug and play rules. Okay. The strings are acting. Please, you have to cooperate. See, next is, it is not any other class. Okay, you should know that. Okay, so know that when sir will teach, it will be a something we will get. Not that it is just a passing of time. Okay. So let us see. So this Java, actually in Java the source of input data is called input stream, and the output data will go to the output stream. So the system.in as you have seen, is an input stream. System.out is an output stream. Another stream is there, system.error, error. That is an output stream for error messages. Error messages will be directed to that stream. And let us see where they are connected, where they are linked. System.in gets the data from whom? From keyboard. System.out will send the data to whom? Monitor. System.err is again to the monitor. Byte oriented. So we have two types of streams. We have byte oriented streams and character oriented streams. Okay. You have byte oriented streams and character oriented streams. In byte oriented streams, there is no notion, there is no knowledge about these data type or encoding scheme. This Unicode scheme is not recognized here. That is why we can read of any type, any data type we can read, we can send output directly. We can check the input directly of integer type, int type, float type. So any data type can be read, any data type can be sent. These are called data streams. Data input streams and data output streams. The next one is character oriented streams. Here, Unicode characters are Unicode encoding scheme is working. Okay. What do you mean by this? That means whatever characters you are inputting, they are not what? They are not bytes. They are all characters. They are all part of the string. Okay. They are not individual things. Okay. All are standard. Single character. Okay. And that is a part of the whole string. And these strings are often referred as reader and writer strings. Okay. So with the byte oriented strings, you will accept and you will provide what you can provide directly a value of a data type. Okay. Not only character type. But with the character oriented stream, you have to deal with only characters. Okay. Normally as far as we are using the input stream reader, you remember, reader. Okay. Input stream reader, buffered reader, all these we are using, that is our character oriented. We have not used the byte oriented. Okay. So let us also see some character oriented input output. See, but you have to, suppose you want to use those like this input stream reader output input stream reader, buffer reader, these type of classes if you want to use, then just import the java.io package, its classes. Import java.io.stack. Or if you know that only input stream reader you want to use, why to import all the classes from java.io? Just import the just import the data input stream class. So you have to write import java.io data input stream. Then call exception handling.